Hi, and welcome to WikiRealty webinars. My name is Ruben Fine, Head of Sales here at WikiRealty. Thank you again, everybody, for taking the time today and joining our webinar. Today, we'll be talking about when everyone zigs, you zag, the secret tactics for viral marketing and gaining a competitive edge. I'm joined today with founder and CEO Sanjay of WikiRealty. Hey, Sanjay, how are you?
Hey, Ruben, how are you? Great to be here.
Great, wonderful. Sanjay, why don't you give everybody here a little bit of background on you and your journey in starting WikiRealty?
Yeah, sure thing. And thanks again for having me. I'm excited to talk to the group. In terms of why I started WikiRealty, I think it makes sense to give you a little background as to sort of what I did pre-WikiRealty. I like to say I'm a reformed real estate developer, reformed real estate lawyer. Don't hold the lawyer part against me. But basically what I'm getting at is for the better part of 2 decades, I, along with our family development companies, developed a lot of real estate between 4 states across all asset classes, from apartments to homes to office buildings to even master plan golf course communities. And really what that should sort of mean to you is that I've got a good working knowledge of the industry across all asset classes, as well as across what the needs of all real estate professionals are. And an interesting thing happened around 2008 or so with the Lehman Brothers, leading the charge of the financial crisis, right? It was a horrible time for many of us if you were practicing back then. And I noticed some real changes in consumer behavior. Consumers before were just doing their Google searches and connecting with the first person that they saw at the top of Google. But post Lehman Brothers, they started to take matters into their own hands. They decided, okay, I'm not just going to believe the first person that I see on a Google search. I'm going to start doing a bunch of research on my own and get smarter about the process. Now, around that time, you also saw Facebook and the other social channels coming of age, but more importantly, as it relates to real estate, the likes of Zillow and Quicken Loans and some of these large online tech players were starting to get some real traction. They also saw this change in consumer behavior and said, look, let's go directly to the consumer and try to own that consumer at the very beginning stages of their search process. Now, the real estate pros obviously were nervous with obviously tech entering the real estate industry. Real estate's been around for 100+ years, and people have been doing things the same way as they have been for the last 100+ years. And Zillow and these other companies said, look, hey, real estate pro, we're not going to compete with you. We're just media companies, so don't be scared that we've got your data. And in that process, real estate professionals ended up paying to advertise on these platforms, just sort of putting fuel to the fire, so to speak. And lo and behold, everyone could have predicted this. The writing was on the wall. Guess what? These technology companies, in the last couple of years, started competing directly with the real estate professionals, taking on the customer at the beginning part of their journey and also transacting with them directly. Now, the real estate pros obviously were alarmed. What do they do? How do they compete with these very deep-pocketed technology companies? And this is where we come in, because from our perspective, real estate is always going to involve the local professionals. It's going to be a long time before somebody pushes a button and buys a home. So real estate professionals will always be part of the process. They just need to figure out how to connect with the consumer and when to connect with the consumer, because that's key. Like, when do you connect with the consumer? Now, most real estate professionals, traditionally are very short-term focused. They think that they need to connect right about the time of a closing because they're thinking about when they're going to get that check. Now, look, as with all businesses, long-term strategy is key. If you only think about the short term, yes, you might get some short-term benefits, but the longevity of your business is going to be affected if you don't start thinking about how you're going to drive people into your pipeline. Same concept holds true for real estate. You need to connect with consumers 9 to 12 months out, even before they begin thinking about thinking about where they want to move in terms of a neighborhood. If you connect with the consumers, in this 9 to 12 month out stage, you are going to own that consumer from the beginning of home search all the way through closing, and you're going to be the one that dominates the market. Sounds good, but how do you connect very early on? It's very interesting that Zillow, believe it or not, put out a study that said at 80% or better of the consumer's decision-making process revolves around neighborhood lifestyle information. And they're selecting neighborhoods even before they select properties. So if you're going to be the one that sort of shares that authentic, personalized, transparent content that gives consumers valuable information, the information that they have a hard time getting, if you share that information, you're going to be the one that connects with them. And as I said in the earlier slide, owns them from home search all the way through closing. Now, in this new digital world, these are the kinds of things that I think many of you are used to seeing, and maybe even, get a little dizzy just kind of looking at all these things. Because look, let's face it, these are not things that, for those of you that have been in the business for, a while, these are not things that you're used to doing, like Facebook ads and Twitter and posting and Instagram and SEO, social media, hyperlocal content. I mean, these are things that you have to do today in order to even just maintain your presence online, not to mention even growing your presence. But this is not what you're used to doing. And unfortunately, in order to be successful in today's new real estate world, especially in post-COVID world, you need to have a very strong online presence, because the fundamentals of real estate haven't changed. Real estate today is still about building trust and relationship, and only after you build that trust and relationship can you then talk about your business message. The same concepts applied in the non-digital world, in the analog world. You'd never go to a networking event and meet somebody that you thought might be a customer and say, hey, my name is Sanjay, great to meet you. I've got a home with you that I'm selling, would you like to buy it? You don't do that. That's just not what happens when you go to social events in the analog world. Same thing holds true in the online world. When you are sort of meeting people online, you have to build that trust, you have to build that relationship. And as I said, you do that with valuable neighborhood information. Once you do that over and over and repeatedly, you begin to look like that local authority, that thought leader in the market. And when you are at that position, then you can tell them about what you do, your business message, so to speak, your property listings, or other information, other business information that you want to promote. And Ruben will talk about this when he jumps back in, but he had a great way of saying you have to sort of earn the right to tell the customer about what it is you do. So this is sort of the thesis. These are the fundamentals of how to be successful in an online world today. And I guess with that, Ruben, I'll turn it over to you, and you can get into the weeds as to how today's real estate professional accomplishes all of this.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sanjay. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, really, trust and building that relationship truly is the fundamentals for a very successful long-term career and business within the real estate industry. And it also has so much more benefit long-term and in your everyday dealings, getting customers, your listing presentations go a lot smoother. Objections are generally a lot smoother and easier because customers trust you and you have that relationship with them. And what I'd like to share with everyone today is how to create your own hyperlocal content and hyperlocal content strategy. These are all the same strategies and techniques that we employ here at WikiRealty that get our clients huge engagements from the neighborhood. It really kind of positions and brands the agents that use WikiRealty services as thought leaders and local market experts, and they're able to kind of, especially now in the world that we live in today, where we don't have the same opportunities, face-to-face opportunities to shake hands and meet people during open houses and foster those in-person relationships. A lot of this has to shift online. So the timing, the market timing right now couldn't be any more important than now to work on hyperlocal content and hyperlocal content strategy. And we want to show you guys how we do it, some of the tactics that we do to employ this that you can do on your own in your own business, especially if you are getting started in the real estate business now. So first thing that we like to do is, and that we talk about, especially with our clients during the onboard process, is let's talk about your target market. Let's talk about your target neighborhood. For us, over the last couple of years, working in markets and testing various strategies, tactics, and techniques, we have found that the more narrow your target market is, the more effective and efficient it becomes. And so focusing on the neighborhoods is key in a hyperlocal content strategy play. And you want to avoid broad markets like cities and counties, depending on your market. And the reason for that is that, of course, we want you to be the overall, market leader in, say, Chicago or Los Angeles or Miami. We want to help you build your empire. Of course, that's the case. But especially when you're starting out and you don't have, the brand recognition nor the multi-million-dollar budget to market to all of these greater big cities or counties, the best way to go is to focus on the hyperlocal neighborhood market. So taking a look, in this case, we're in the Miami market, and in this example here, looking at Coconut Grove, or even tighter in the Southwest Coconut Grove market. You want to focus on that kind of very niche market, and then eventually broaden yourself out. It's creating a beachhead, but it's a more efficient, a more effective play, not only getting your message out to the locals there, but also in terms of budget and where your dollar can stretch a lot further. So focus on your target neighborhood, and once you've found and chosen that neighborhood, the next thing you want to start to do, which is pretty straightforward, is find high value, trending, and relative neighborhood news and events that are happening in that area, in your target market area. This is achieved by looking at the local papers. A lot of them have like the digital version. So looking at your local Chicago Tribune, or looking at, in this case, there's a blogs, Time Out in the Miami area. There's also other local sources that you can tap into. One great method is to simply use Google. Type in the neighborhood that you're looking at, or town, and put it into the search bar. There's a little selection there that says, all or news. Click on the news tab, and it'll pull up all the news that is in that area, and you can start sifting through that. Pro tip with that is you can start adding keywords, obviously, to the search bar. So, for example, we can say, in this case, I typed in Coral Gables, and literally that's the term I used. I clicked on news, and I started seeing a bunch of news about what's going on in Coral Gables. I then typed in Coral Gables restaurants, and lo and behold, first article that popped out here, then Time Out article here you see on the screen, is that they're opening an Australian-style brewery in Coral Gables in that area, which is very relevant to the local market. And we have found over the last couple months and years in testing various types of topics and articles that lifestyle, entertainment, anything that has to do with dining, activities, events, and especially local deals resonates very well with the market. And that type of content is what drives and attracts customers towards you and pulls them into your marketing, and is very effective when developing your hyperlocal content. strategy.
The interesting thing here, Ruben, is that, and these are great suggestions as to sort of give people a roadmap on, okay, how do I go find this content? But as many of the real estate pros that are working in their local markets know this stuff because they live and work there, right? I mean, I often tell realtors, I'm like, think about what you get asked when you are on showing tours and you've got, clients in your cars. They're asking you questions about all of this kind of stuff. So this stuff. Certainly, Google's a great way to sort of remind yourself of the amount of things that that are happening at a local level. But finding the content is easier than you think, believe it or not.
That's right. I think you said it best, Sanjay, in on one of our other webinars that it's real estate is the best insider trading there is because a lot of the local realtors and real estate professionals here know so much about what's going on in the area before a lot of other people do, like a new park, for example, or a new building complex that is going up. New shopping center, or Starbucks is, they just approved plans that Starbucks is going to to the local neighborhood. All of these things are great, and everybody knows, and we all know these things because we're all in the industry, and you should leverage that because that is the expertise and that is the differentiator that separates you from your other competition that's out there. And that's the thing that is will resonate and also will be sticky in your consumer's mind is how well do you know the area. Once you have found that article and you've said, okay, great, I'm going to talk, this new restaurant down the street or the aquarium's having 50% off this weekend. That sounds like it's a great thing to share with the area. You want to then personalize and write an article, an opinion article about that content. One of the things we see that happens quite frequently with realtors, which is not a bad thing, but it's not the most optimal, is that we'll find an article. Let's say it's CNN has an article posted on their site or one of the local papers. And generally, what we'll do is you'll grab the link, you'll post it on Facebook, and call it a day, right? And you'll get you'll get some reactions to it. When a user clicks on that article, they end up going to the article itself, which is housed generally at whatever the main source site might be, and we lose the opportunity to engage that customer on the site, and get that customer looped into your listings or calling you because we have, in a sense, moved them off of Facebook and moved them onto another site. It's a very rare chance that person's going to hit the back button and then go back to you on your Facebook page and reach out to you if they have any questions or see your face or see your name. So one of the things that we advise is that you rewrite an article and you post it on your social. And so when you rewrite this personalized article, you want to rewrite the headline, make sure it's catchy, always include an image. A lot of people react to images very well. That's why Instagram is so popular. Your article does not need to be anything lengthy. Don't worry about writing a novel. 200 to 250 words is what we have found is a really good kind of word count when rewriting an article. You want to be conscious of SEO, so make sure that you have the proper keywords in there that you are targeting, especially if you are running any type of keyword advertising on any platform. You want to utilize those here in the within the article. So be SEO conscious, and also be conscious about tagging and referencing and sourcing, especially in your articles, because all of those tags and mentions go a long way. Be personal with your article. You're writing it for yourself. Add your flavor, add your personality, and add your opinion to it. One of the few things you want to do that you don't want to do when personalizing your article is keep that self promotion down. We're sharing local news here, and we're not trying to come off as an advertisement. We're trying to come off as we're sharing value within the neighborhood. So keep self-promotion down. You'll want to reserve self-promotion very infrequently in your content marketing, and you can use self-promotion in ads, but avoid that in writing and publishing any content articles here. And one of the last things that you want to avoid doing is just simply copying and pasting the content, because we want to avoid any type of risk of plagiarism. But writing a 200 to 250 word opinion article in your own words is 100% totally fine and advisable.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. The not copying and pasting, because look, as you know, and you also mentioned SEO, Ruben, Google constantly indexes sites that they believe have authority. The sites they believe have authority are the ones that are putting out unique content on a regular basis. So if you have a blog or a website that you're sharing this unique content, it's original content, meaning not cut and paste, you're going to get found organically by the search engines, and that content lives on forever. I mean, on WikiRealty, when we're doing this for some of our customers, we have seen content live on and get to the top of page one of Google searches for consumer-related queries 5-6 years after the original post was originally published. So tremendous upside in doing these, implementing these strategies.
Yeah, 100%. And once you write those, your article, you want to post it somewhere. You want to anchor it, if you will, on your website or your blog, or some type of content platform that allows you to house this article and take full advantage of the traffic as your customers are looking at and reading this piece. If you don't have a website or blog, there are a few resources for you. WordPress, Blogger, both totally free. There's also paid versions like Wix, and Squarespace, I believe, also is a really good one, a popular one for blogging or quick websites, or other content platforms. There are various numbers of content publishing websites out there. We at WikiRealty have a content platform built in, and we use it for our realtors, clients, and real estate professionals, so they can post their articles on here. But nonetheless, the reason why you do want that is because the traffic that comes to your site from these articles, you want to be able to take full advantage and maximize those opportunities. And having it on your own site has a lot of benefits, including calls to actions and CTAs that you have in there, your face, your name, other links to articles that you have written, properties that you might have in listing, or you have open houses, things like that. So you want to be able to kind of capture that customer, keep them on your page, and in a sense advertise to them your email and your contact information. So hopefully those customers then end up reaching out to you. So when looking at your website, make sure it's fully optimized with CTAs and is sticky, that they stay on your site, view other articles that you have written, and see and learn more about your business. Once that article is written and published on your anchor site, whether it be a blog or a website that you have, that gives you the opportunity now to distribute far and wide in social. So on that blog that you created, grab that link, and it's as simple as you normally would on sharing on any social. It's just post that link into a post. Most social platforms now are very smart, so they will then ingest that content. They will, include the headline for you. They'll import the picture, and everything is nice and easy. And from there, you just simply publish. Make sure you publish on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, are the big players here, and any other social media outlet that you have, you want to distribute this far and wide so you get more people looking at it. Again, this is a very efficient play, costing you absolutely nothing except for, your time in finding these articles. So let everybody know about it and sit back, and over time you start to earn the trust and relationship with the local market. They start to react, they start to comment, and they start to share, especially when you're providing high value, relevant content within the neighborhood. We tend to see a lot of engagement with customers once they start reading and seeing these types of content on a regular basis. And as that happens, you want to be able to capitalize on this newfound traffic and this newfound audience. So there's a couple ways to do that. One, that's pixeling on your website. So you gotta make sure that you have pixels built in. Pixeling, you can Google how to pixel your own website. If you have any web developer contacts, they'll be able to kind of help set that up. But making sure that we have a pixel on your website is important. On the other side is that when anybody that engages or reacts to your content, those people are tagged within Facebook and Instagram. And what you want to do in this case, which is the second point that Sanjay was making earlier, is you want to provide value up front. So the content there is providing value. It's building trust within that customer. And then you'll get to earn the right to present your business message once you've established that relationship. And now this is the, being able to earn the right to present your business message through a retargeting ad. And this, of course, is going to those that have engaged with you. So again, highly relevant ad to engaged customers. And the way you do that is through your Facebook, your ad manager. When creating your audience, you want to select not only or upload not only your database that you might have in your CRM or lists that you have acquired, but you also want to, in the engagement sections, select Facebook page engagements, and also for Instagram engagements, and then add your website at the bottom in your new audience tags here. That's going to obviously be your pixel. What that's going to do is it's going to, as you run your ad, it's going to target those that have engaged or participated in your content or on your website, making that ad more effective and more potent, if you will, because you're going after customers that have built in a relationship with you. And that generally, as we have tested this over and over and over again for the last couple of years, has been the most effective and most efficient way to market. And we see really good conversions and quality leads, not just quantity leads, using this method. In addition to all of this, when developing that retargeting ad, we like to advise and like to optimize for messages. So when you're creating that campaign, optimize your ads for messages. We found that this has a higher quality kind of throughput versus any of the other considerations, especially lead generation, which generally we see a lot of real estate professionals select. It kind of makes sense because, hey, we're trying to generate leads from our ads. However, if we optimize for messages, it allows us the opportunity to qualify that lead and also create that conversation, right? Because really, advertising is just a way to get a conversation going. And the beauty of the way that Facebook and social media is now is that it's an online conversation through their chat systems. And so when you optimize for messages, it allows you to have a very light conversation with the customer, answer some basic questions, get their phone number, get their email, so then you can log that into your CRM, and then take that conversation via the phone or text message or email, and again, further kind of develop that relationship as you move on to other communication sources.
And Ruben, I mean, these are great points that you're bringing up here, especially within the ads manager. And maybe it's a good time to bring up right now, as you and I have discussed, some of the challenges that we've heard realtors experiencing as it relates to creating their own ads. So we want to, without getting too much into the weeds, just sort of explain why that is. Some of you may or may not know that Facebook was sued by the federal government for violating fair housing laws with respect to how they were using ads to target people within certain income or race categories, whatever it might be. So their solution to all of that was to impose a blanket 15-mile radius restriction when promoting property listings or loan products or other business messages. So, everybody is sort of, playing with that same, playing field in terms of, okay, if I've got a listing, no ifs, ands, or about it. There is no way to get around the 15-mile sort of radius restriction when you're promoting a listing. But the interesting thing about the hyperlocal content is because it's not a business message, and it doesn't have to do with, directly with selling homes. You can actually get really granular in your targeting when you are writing an article about something that's happened locally. You can actually get very granular to that particular neighborhood. If you're in Miami, you can target, Coral Gables or Coconut Grove or South Beach. So that's a very interesting sort of workaround to some of the restrictions and challenges that some of you may be seeing with Facebook today. And if you're interested, we can obviously talk about this offline as well. But I just thought I'd throw that out there for you to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only is it, geographic kind of, targeting that you can do, but you could do things a lot around interest. I know that we had a client just recently was selling a bunch of homes in a predominantly well-known golfing area and wanted to target, customers that were into golf. And one of the interests and selections there that we have employed is targeting those that are into sports and those that are into golf, which is wonderful because our content is written around that, which again kind of is our work around these ad restrictions that Facebook has started to put in place. But it's a really good kind of Jedi move around some restrictions, but it does allow you to get in front of the right audience, and that is the key: getting your message out to the right audience. And finding ways and creative ways to do that is important. So content, hyperlocal content, is really the key for that. Once those leads now and once that content ad and retargeting ad are employed and it's out in the market, we see a lot of engagement happen with both. And because you've optimized for messages on your ads, you will start to begin to get leads. And a couple tips that I want to share with you is that when creating that ad optimization, you want to ensure that you are thoughtful about your message templates. Those are the prompts. So as soon as a person clicks on send a message, they'll get a prompt, three things. Are you a homeowner, as an example? Would you like to buy in the area? Or, are you interested in learning more about the market pricing of the neighborhood or something like that? You want to get creative with it. Make sure you have your ad templates set up. That way, if a customer selects in there, you do a little bit of pre-qualification before you start engaging with that customer. But nonetheless, as soon as you start to see leads come in, you want to make sure you're responding quickly and that you're following up on a regular basis using the Facebook Messenger, since that is the way that they have decided to communicate with you. One of the things that we've seen over the past year or so, as we've employed a lot of these strategies, was a lot of leads just sitting in the inbox. And so one of the things you want to regularly check is making sure that you are staying on top of not only your emails and your voicemails and your text message, but also social as well, because that is where the customer is communicating with you. Engage them lightly, answer a few light questions, but always be focused on taking that conversation out of Facebook and onto your email or a phone call. And generally, we see a lot of great reception here with customers that are willing to, provide their phone number, provide their email to get additional information from you. And that right there is a signal of trust that they selected your ad. They started communicating with you, the fact that they're responding, and then also asking them, hey, why don't we take this? Why don't I give you a call, give you some more information? What's your phone number? And they generally provide that. That, again, is a signal for you that trust is being built and a relationship is starting to form.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty warm, if not hot lead, right? Somebody that you don't know online has sort of raised their hand, said they have an interest, and then provided some personal information. I mean, I don't think it gets any better than that in terms of intent, right?
That's correct. Yeah. And everybody and all of us, no matter what industry that you are in, we're all looking for that warm to hot lead. That is the key, and that is important. So overall, that generally is, the overall strategy for creating hyperlocal content and retargeting your ads against those people that are engaging with your content. Over again the last couple of years, as we've been testing different strategies and cadences and ad methods, we have actually found that a 4-week campaign is the most optimal in getting our message out to our neighborhoods, pulling in customers with our content, and then providing our business message. And the campaign really looks like this. So week number 1, we have hyperlocal content that is pushed out, again, around the lifestyle, events, happenings within the area. Food is one of the biggest drivers and one of the most engaged type of article and news that the locals like, because everyone loves food. And so you'll start to see a lot of engagements there. Week number 2, we follow that up with a business message, again, retargeting to those that have engaged your article with whatever business message that you wish. Week number 3 follows that with another hyperlocal content, again, further driving more people to your business page and enticing them to react, comment, and share. And then week number 4, we follow that up with another retargeting ad. Could be a listing, could be an open house if you wish, but another retargeting ad. And then we rinse and repeat that each and every month. And by doing so, you start to build up your following. You start building up your content. Customers start to follow you within the neighborhood. The best thing of all is that as you start to see this flourish and grow, and more people start to notice that, hey, you're putting out a lot of really good content, you really know what you're doing here, they start to share it with their friends. And that really is the key, is getting those people to then share with their friends. And generally, especially when it's local news about a restaurant, maybe it might be a farmer's market that's just reopening, or a new stall within the farmer's market. Generally, they're not going to share that out to friends of theirs out of state. They're going to be sharing that to friends of theirs within the area or neighbors, and that is what expands your network and also expands your sphere of influence as well. So highly consider a 4-week hyperlocal content campaign. It has been working for us and can work for you as well. And so, what to expect when trying to employ this type of strategy and tactic. Look, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it does take a lot of time. Again, this is a long-term business strategy to help you build a long-term career and business within real estate. And so you don't want to rush this process. Creating relationships just does not happen overnight, and it does take a lot of time. You want to invest a good amount of time in your posts and your ads. This is the critical piece. It does seem like a lot of time. However, spending the time to look at articles, find the right article that is trending, that is going to be relevant. You want to be able to kind of think through that, especially in the writing process, adding your personal touch and flavor and opinion on there. That's also important. And then when you're doing your retargeting, making sure that you're targeting the right group. That way your ad spend is optimized and most efficient. Most of all, you want to be persistent in all of this. You don't want to give up. You want to give this time. We generally, see that, we start to see some good engagement within the first month, but it really starts to pick up legs after 2 to 3 months. We start to see things grow at a very nice rate, and the influence starts to get pretty good at 2 to 3 months. So give yourself time, keep writing these articles, don't give up, and spend quality time here, because this, by spending quality time here, leads to quality relationships, and those quality relationships turn into a quality business for you in the long term. For those that, are busy, or if your business starts to catch fire and you're short on time and resources, WikiRealty does provide services, and this is what we do, and this is what we specialize in. We write and build all that content for you. We write it, we post it, we publish it, we distribute it all across all your social networks. We do all the pixeling with WikiRealty on our main page. All of your content is posted there. Again, fully pixeled, fully indexed by Google. We retarget those people with your business message ad, keeping you top of mind and your message in front of the right audience, again, being more effective and more efficient. And we work with you across the entire process and way on the type of articles you want to write, the type of people you want to target, and the type of business message you want to employ. And best of all, on some of our product packages, we do a lot of that customer engagement on your ads as well, saving you tons of time, energy, responding to customers. So we monitor your inbox, and as those leads start to come in and we start to qualify those for you, get their phone number, get their email, and then warm transfer them over to you. So really at the end of the day, this is more of a kind of set it and forget it. And at the end of the day, you get an email or a phone call saying, hey, we got a customer for you here. Fully automated, all the content is exclusive to you, and it brands you as that local market expert. We handle it all for you. So we focus on social while you focus on your business.
Yeah, that's entirely right. I mean, it's funny because we always kind of joke around here, WikiRealty. We say, like, when you're not thinking about branding yourself, we are. Or we're working in your business when you're working on your business. So as Ruben said, most of the realtors that we talk to know they need to do all this stuff. They don't have the time, or they just don't even want to do it, or they don't know how to do it. We've brought it together in a singular platform, holistic solution that takes care of everything from unique content that's unique to you. Nobody else gets it. We distribute it across your social channels. We run the targeted ads. We know how Facebook works, so you don't have to deal with any of that frustrations. And then all of the back-end pixeling and all of the landing pages that are branded to you, so keeping people in your ecosystem, all of that is done by us on our end. You don't have to worry about it. And we have a person on our team, we have people on our team that actually steps into the conversations, and as Ruben said, nurtures the lead, brings them down the funnel. So it is about as automated as it gets as far as you are concerned. So you can just focus on what you focus on, which is selling, and then we'll take care of everything. And the other thing I want to sort of note is, I hear complaints, challenges with many realtors saying that they sign up for these technology platforms and they never hear from them again. One of our strong suits is, we over communicate more than anything. We want to make sure that we keep you involved in the process. You can be as involved or as little involved as you want. One thing's for sure, our account guys will always be in front of you asking how we can optimize things for you. What properties do you want to promote? What can we do to better perform for you? So I think that in terms of the solution that we have, it is certainly unmatched in the industry, especially when it relates to the number of components that we brought together. If you were to kind of cobble together 5 or 6 solutions that do pieces of what we do, rest assured you'd actually pay a heck of a lot more. And from an efficacy standpoint, I'm pretty confident in saying it probably won't deliver the same results.
Yeah, it's like one of our clients recently told me that they're like, hey, this is like investing in a content CMO team here here for me. And really it is, because there are so many moving parts here. We have writers on staff, we have experts in Facebook ad targeting, retargeting and advertising, and then we have that support team there that nurtures the leads. So really there's a lot of, you're investing in yourself when you're are part of WikiRealty, because all this content is yours, and it lives on for perpetuity, especially with the SEO kind of strategies that we put in place when writing your articles. So yeah, you definitely are getting best bang for your buck here, and having a team behind you building your brand, and positioning you as the local market expert within the area, driving again more quality business to you through trust and relationships with the local market area. And again, as you start focusing on that neighborhood and you start to lock in those neighbors and those relationships, and start those people start to see you everywhere and start to know you by name, again, everything else down the line, as you start building that trust and relationship, becomes a lot easier. And then you can start moving that and expanding that target greater, and then soon you'll dominate and have a real estate empire that anyone would be envious about. Now, we do have want to talk briefly on some of our programs here. We believe in what we do wholeheartly, and so our packages are very simple. But a couple things to note right off the bat is that in everything that we do here at WikiRealty, there are no setup fees whatsoever. There's no contracts, meaning there's no commitment, because we believe in what we do and we know that it's very valuable. And at the end of the day, we have built in on every single plan your ad budget. And so we never will ever reach out to you and say, hey, we need an extra X amount of hundreds of dollars to do ads. Everything is built in. It's very straightforward, very transparent. We do have 3 packages and 3 programs, depending on where you are in your real estate career right now. Growth, which is our main package here, especially if you're starting out and you're starting to grow your business, that is a great fit for you. All of these packages here follow our same kind of hyperlocal content strategy, including 2 content ads, hyperlocal content ads, followed by 2 smart retargeting ads for you. Growth is one. Our main kind of most popular package, especially those that have been in the real estate business and are looking to, take it to the next level, is our autopilot program. Again, most popular, same kind of 2 content, 2 smart ads. Here, though, we do add a social concierge, and this is where and this is the package that starts that nurturing campaign, where we have someone on staff. They're monitoring your inbox. They are not only nurturing leads as they come in through your content ads and your smart ads, but they're also inviting those that have reacted to your article to follow your business page. Again, driving more relationships and trust, and getting more opportunities for you. And then finally, we have our top producer, and those are for, hey, you have tons of listings, or you want to get into the market fast and hard. Our top producer plan is excellent for that. This bumps up everything that you see in the autopilot with the concierge, the content ad, where we kick that up with 2 extra smart ads to get more listings in front of more customers, or more of your business message in front of more customers. But the reach on all of these are amazing. You're going to get in front of your neighbors, you're going to get in front of the market, and you're going to position yourself as the thought leader through our partnership here at WikiRealty. And if you are ever interested in learning more about it, or like to schedule a demo with us just to see kind of like the inner workings of what we do and see how this can fit your business, you can always visit us and schedule a demo with us at join.wikirealty.com/demo. where here is our online calendar, so you can schedule a demo with us or a call with us at any point, anytime, at your convenience. We're going to open it up now for Q&A with everyone. Thank you, Sanjay, for for your insights here. We do have a few questions if you're open to answering a few.
Yeah, absolutely. Fire away.
All right. So one question that here in the chat box, this is from Jill. Why not post every day? Great question on there. And generally, most people say, hey, yeah, you want to post every day because that's kind of how you build up your social following. There's nothing wrong with posting every day if you want to kind of post about what's happening. But when it comes down to like articles and what we have tested and what we've seen, over the last couple of years, is that we're walking a fine line there in how much FaceTime we do have with our clients, and we don't want to come off as we're spamming them. And so we have found that one post a week for the first week content post, and then a follow with a business message the second week is the most optimal that we have seen. But there again, there is nothing wrong with posting in between those about certain things, maybe a photo here, a couple thoughts there, here and there. Absolutely probably advisable to do that. But when you're thinking about writing content pieces, we have seen once a week, and that's very doable for a lot of people. That whole finding of an article and writing it is labor intensive and does take some time, and so be pretty exhausting to do it every day. So once a week is totally fine. Follow that with a business ad, and then the following week you can do content and rinse and repeat every month. Sanjay, anything you want to add there? Any insights that you have?
Yeah, I mean, look, we focus on the quality over quantity. As you said, there's a spamming component, and then really, I mean, how much value are you really giving if you're posting every day? What is that you're sharing? I mean, we've seen these services that post every day, and we see the engagement on these posts. It's little to none, and that kind of underscores the idea behind quality over quantity. And your consumers, if they can constantly see you posting every day over and over and over again, they're going to get tired of it. So we, as Ruben said, we think once a week is as long as it's good, solid content is good, especially if you have an ad budget behind it. So I mean, that's my thought on it.
Gotcha, great. We got one here from Zach. If I were to do this on my own, how much time really does it take to build an online presence? Am I looking at 3 months, 6 months, a year?
Yeah, I mean, so that's a great question. So you have to look at this as sort of a building block process. Every piece of content and everything you do online that's not purely an ad builds your sort of your digital authority, so to speak. So when you're writing articles, that's why people always stress the blogs. When you have blogs that have constant content on there, you're going to get constantly indexed and then get found over time. On the SEO side, we have no sort of silver bullet on how long it takes. We've seen some of our content get indexed and found in as little as 30 days, and sometimes it takes longer. We've seen content that isn't indexed and found for the first few months, but then over time, lo and behold, it does kind of creep up there. No silver bullet, so to speak. But in terms of how much time it takes to sort of build up this following on your own, as Ruben said, you gotta, if you're going to do it well, you got to think about the content. You got to make sure the targeting's right. You got to post it on the platform and make sure the distribution is right. I mean, each post might take 2 to 3 hours if you do it correctly. If you do 4 posts, you got to spend at least 10 to 12 hours a month doing it at a minimum. And then you got to kind of weigh what the cost of that time is to you. And if you're spending that time, are you doing it effectively? And not to be sort of too salesy again, but this is where I sort of think that our platform provides a cost savings to you as well, because we've been doing it for a while. We know it works, and your time is better spent doing what you know, which is selling. So kind of a long-winded answer to your question.
Great. Perfect. Let's see here. We have another question here from Dan. How much effort is it on my part if I were to use a WikiRealty service? What is needed?
Yeah, that's a great question. Little to none, candidly. You tell us, if you're interested in signing up, we'll create the profile for you. We will give you instructions on literally how to sync your Facebook business page, Twitter, and LinkedIn pages. And one of my team members will actually give you a call and walk you through it if you're having problems. But that process takes no more than 10 minutes. You pick the location that you want to focus on, the neighborhood, and we are off and running. You will get your first piece of content within the first 4 days. In that time period, we're working with you on figuring out what your business message ad is, what your listing ad is, and then we just repeat the cycle. And you can be as involved or as not involved as you want. I mean, you can even approve. We send you a draft of the article 24 hours before it's published. If you want, you can approve it. Candidly, most of our realtors just let it auto-publish. If you want to approve the topic even before we write the article, you have the flexibility to do that as well. So we have truly automated the process with little to no time required on your end if that's a route you'd like to take.
Wonderful. Last question here from who's this from? This is from Lance. How is this different than the other content publishing services out there for real estate?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a lot of people that post content, right? But couple things. So the content side is one thing, but nobody is doing the unique content per each subscriber. I mean, you see a lot of platforms that'll give the same non-local generic content to multiple subscribers in the same market. So a bunch of realtors are posting the same stuff. What's the use in that? How are you really separating yourself? In addition to that, you don't really see companies that combine both the content with the ad strategies as well as the retargeting of the business message. You're either just doing ads or you're doing content. Nobody's doing both. Because we're doing both, we have the ability to implement these dynamic Facebook retargeting strategies, which really sets us apart from many of the folks that are doing this.
Yeah, I've seen, when auditing and consulting a few agents, I start looking through the feeds, and it's really that the quality of the content, the relevancy is highly important. I mean, look, all of us are pretty used to, advertising at this point, both on social and what we see out there. And, once we start seeing, an image or an ad that looks similar to somebody else, we have a really good knack at identifying, what we call recycled content. And that really actually works against a lot of businesses. Not only is it just in real estate, because when you are bucketed in the Me Too, and people start to see, the type of content you put out is recycled, and they've seen it other places, they start to lose not only interest, but they start to lose value in what you're saying and what you're doing. And they tune you out. And so it actually does more harm than good when, considering using recycled content when publishing your brand. Your brand is very important. Your image is very important. And we need to look at that. We need to, in a sense, scrutinize the kind of vendors or services that we use, and really think, like, is this helping or hurting my overall brand, because your reputation is important. And if you're here to build a long-term business for the ages, and be seen as that local expert and player within the market, it is important that you are seen as the quality service provider in the area, quality agent, quality realtor, quality professional. And you just want to be careful in taking a look at that. Even though I I have seen and have heard that, especially with a lot of agents, that the cost effectiveness of it is great, and it is that for a reason. You get what you pay for a bit here. So be careful in recycled content. Take a look at that, but quality over quantity, like Sanjay has said, is paramount.
100%.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, it doesn't look like I have any other questions. If you do have a question for us, but don't want to ask it on the webinar, or you think about it afterwards, feel free to email any one of us. Sanjay's email is sanjay@wikirealty.com. My email here is at ruben@wikirealty.com. Happy to answer any and all of your questions, especially if you think of them after the webinar, or if you'd like to contact us and talk to us further. We'll be happy to jump on a call with you, answer any questions that you have, and see if WikiRealty might be a good fit for you. Thank you again for joining today's webinar. Sanjay, thank you for taking the time, and we will see you on the next webinar. Take care.
Thank you, Ruben. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.